Our final nominee tonight is Dr. Lynn Snyder-Mackler. Lynn's name is synonymous with pioneering research and transformational contributions to the fields of physical therapy and sports medicine. She is a driving force behind the University of Delaware's physical therapy graduate program's ascension to the #1 ranked program in the country. As the world's preeminent ACL rehabilitation expert, Lynn has been enlisted to help some of the world's elite Olympic and Hall of Fame athletes expedite their recoveries. While caring for international stars, Lynn has also continued to dedicate significant time to treat and rehabilitate Delaware high school and college athletes. In 2015, she received the highest honor in her profession, the Mary McMillan Lecture Award from the American Physical Therapy Association. Beyond her professional achievements, Lynn has immersed herself in local community service. She became a tireless advocate for families facing ALS as her husband Scott battled the disease for 15 years until his passing in 2013. She continues to work with families dealing with ALS and MND worldwide. Lynn has served on numerous boards, including the Delaware Pro-Choice Medical Fund, University of Delaware Hillel, and the Governor's Council on Lifestyles and Fitness. Let's learn more about Dr. Snyder-Mackler's incredible achievements.
Sports has been central to my mom's life from a very early age. She was an All-American lacrosse player in college at Johns Hopkins. And then she was able to find a profession and find a niche in an area that combined the two things she loves the most, which is scientific research and sports. And we've had sports and athletics around us for as long as I've been alive.
I think Lynn's idea in terms of that we would help to provide a scientifically based, evidence-based practice. Up to that, at that time, we were like probably one of the earlier generations where we were physical therapists and academically trained in terms of all having PhDs.
This is a giant industry now that was basically nothing 40 years ago. And when you think about what the university has become, that was a brand new department with a handful of people who had a vision and passion and work ethic, and they have turned it into the best physical therapy department in the country and one of the crown jewels of our flagship university here in Delaware.
Almost every athlete gets hurt at some point in their career. I think you know that. And they need to be rehabilitated. And there was so much confusion about the best way to do that. And I think, and so many other questions as well, that actually Lynn has had a tremendous impact in terms of answering those questions. In research, it takes years from doing lots of really basic things to turn it into a clinical practice. And Lynn's done that probably better than almost anyone. There are very few things that are more rewarding in life than really helping someone to reach their goals, whether it's students in a classroom or PhD students getting their PhDs, but a patient in the clinic being able to walk without pain the first time. You know, those are the kinds of things that Lynn has certainly helped to do.
Her passion at its core is about helping people, whomever it is that needs help. She, in every facet of her life, her professional life, her personal life, her charitable endeavors, just wants to help the world be a better place and wants, most importantly, to help people who need the most help.
Because of her legacy of groundbreaking research in physical therapy and sports medicine and profound impact on the lives of countless individuals, we are proud to induct Dr. Lynn Snyder-Mackler into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. Congratulations. I will pass these to you.
said, we'll pass that to my daughter. Really, thank you to the Women's Hall of Fame Committee and everyone here for honoring all of us. No one starts her career planning for this moment, you know, but I'm just so very thankful to be here and to be here being honored by all of you. And Tracy, I know I'm standing between you and the Phillies, so I'm going to keep it. I'm still okay? Who am I? I'm a physical therapist. Everybody's said that already. That's always my first answer. But I'm also a mother, a wife, a sister, a grandmother. And the past years have held a lifetime of events and emotions, graduations, travels, weddings, births, and deaths, all surrounded by the blessing of ordinary days that, well, are never really ordinary. No one achieves great success by herself. My family, right, many of whom are here today, and those who've fallen off the raft are my heart. My son Alexander and his wife Laura, and my precious grandchildren, my son Noah and his wife Kelsey, my sister and Scott's sister, Michael's children, Jen and David, and my husband Michael, my partner in work and life. They have all contributed to my personal and professional success, and I would be remiss, especially in this room, if I omitted the late Lenny Markell, who never minced words and let me know whenever she thought I needed a course correction. As many of you know, didn't hold back. I had many mentors over the years, some terrific high school teachers and driven classmates who made me better. Coaches, teammates, and serendipity at Hopkins, where I fell in love with sports medicine. Great professors at Penn PT School, an introduction to serious research in the neuromuscular research lab at BU, where I pursued my doctorate. And then all this led me to Delaware, and the perfect storm of colleagues back there, opportunity and support. It made my career and the rocket ship that is UDPT and clinic reach stratospheric heights. In life and professionally, we look to those who inspire us, who led. They asked us to talk a little bit about mentors. We all have professional forebears. To my group of young faculty struggling to become clinical researchers in the 1980s, our mentor encouraged our participation in professional association activities. He urged us to attend meetings. He implored us to help each other, as scattered as we were across the country. You need cronies, he would say. Back then, long-distance calls cost money. There were times, as we were finishing our dissertations, that we ran up hundreds of dollars of phone bills. There was no internet, but we made a network. We kept in touch, we supported each other, and we still do. I've had two great missions in my professional life. First, to figure out why the thigh muscles don't work after knee surgery and how to make them work better. And training larger numbers of physical therapists and clinician scientists, mentoring and supporting them in rich clinical research environments, and setting the bars high for their productivity. In 1980, I submitted my first big grant to the NIH, and it was scored on the bubble. Terry Shimoleski, then a graduate student in the lab, was so much fun to mentor. She would hide fun goals in her progress reports to me, like dance like Janet Jackson, in between getting my specialist certification and publishing my first paper. She and I worked on the resubmission as the funding cycle came and went on the bubble proposal. One of her other non-science serious goals was to go to Rome to see the Polish Pope. Well, in the middle of the chaos, away she went. And when she returned to no news on the grant, she said, "I'm offering my papal blessing to the grant proposal." Well, a few days later, the project officer called from the NIH and said they'd found some extra money and the grant was going to be funded. A few years back, I was tempted to submit it to the Vatican as evidence of one of the miracles required for Pope John Paul II's beatification. There are tons of great lessons in this story for mentors in this story. Have a sense of humor. Don't give up. The only way to be sure you don't succeed is not to try. Be nice to those you mentor. Believe in them so they can believe. All their goals are important to them. Your job is to help them triage and prioritize, but don't squash them. Most of my PhD students have been women. 2/3 of PT students are women, while approximately 60% of the core faculty are women. We comprise less than 50% of the tenure track faculty, and even fewer of the tenured positions. So in the interest of full disclosure, I'd like to talk a little bit about the illusion of work-life balance and the importance of fulfilling work in a full and happy life of an individual and family. First, if you think all of us who are here on the stage always keep our various balls in the air, you are seeing the illusion. We often keep the balls in the air, but the ones that fall are just hidden from view, dented, and momentarily forgotten. We are here because we play to our strengths and find teammates, family members, babysitters, friends, colleagues, graduate students, and others among them, whose contributions complement our own at work and at home. Johns Hopkins professor and Nobel Prize winner Carol Greeter was, by many accounts, including hers, folding laundry and about to head off to an early morning spin class when she got the call from Sweden. According to the Washington Post, several days later, when she heard that President Obama had won the Nobel Peace Prize, she thought to herself, I bet he wasn't folding laundry. I love my family and my work, but I was no good at decorating birthday cakes or making collages. Thanks to babysitters and preschool teachers and the bakery, my kids had birthday cakes and paper turkeys on the windows at Thanksgiving. They also had trips around the world and met lots of interesting people at home and abroad, because the things I am good at gave me and my family opportunities. Now I have a little segue here. This does not always assuage the yearnings of a 6-year-old. We are moving Alexander and Laura out of the home where our family has lived for 2 generations. And yesterday, I found these 2 notes to me from Alexander from the semester I spent finishing my dissertation, spending weekdays in Boston. Dear Mom, I miss you when you are on your trip to Boston, and I am going to miss you on the week after next week. I love you very much. I love you, and I want you to stay home, Mom. I do. So really, it was a little more traumatic than they let on. We all have our successes and failures, our ups and downs, but realize we can't do it alone. Perseverance does you well, but it only goes so far. Working really, really hard and digging in to solve problems doesn't ensure success. You can do that, do it well, and fail spectacularly. To survive in a ferociously competitive culture, it depends on strategic alliances. To advance, a young scientist needs to get included in significant projects, preferably with an established mentor. This is our job as mentors, to include them, to share, to introduce those that we mentor to others who can help them succeed. I've spent my professional life, first as a clinician and for the past 35 years as a clinician scientist, in a challenging and supportive environment with leaders who set high expectations for all and value their ideas. I've been supported by department chairs and deans, both of whom are here tonight, in an institution that shared our department vision and invested in our clinical and research excellence. I have, as my former mentor admonished, cronies in and outside of the institution. I think it's unsurprising that I've been successful. So don't try to be perfect. Don't try to keep all the balls in the air. One will always be lying on the floor broken. Rest assured, you can always pick it up, smush it back together, and throw it back in the air, and almost no one will notice. Just don't let it always be the same one. So be solid, do your best. Find a good team to lead or to be part of. Use your talents, work hard and effectively. Make an impact. Indeed, there are challenges to an academic life, but nowhere else could I have turned a young clinician's wonder about why the thigh muscles don't work after knee surgery into a fulfilling and successful career. Thank you.